Today, Apple announced new iPads, and we need to talk about it. So Apple has two updated devices now. They have the new iPad Air, which is a new category, and the new iPad mini. The new iPad mini replaces the old one, which has been out for a very long time now and was in pretty big need of a new update. Now, the iPad Air is kind of interesting. So basically, how it worked right now, Apple had two different iPad lineups. There was the original basic iPad, which started at $329. And that was obviously the most popular one because it was kind of the everyday iPad. Then on the higher end, you went straight from $329 to $799, and that was for the new iPad Pro. Now, don't get me wrong, the new iPad Pro is unbelievable. And what Apple's basically trying to do right now is Apple has slowly been raising the prices of their MacBooks. Basically, the cheapest MacBook that you should buy is $1,200 to $1,300. And for most people, especially students entering college, that's a lot of money. And that's something a lot of them aren't willing to spend. So what Apple basically has been doing is if I have a $799 iPad Pro and I buy a $150 Bluetooth keyboard or the one that comes from Apple, basically I filled the role of having a MacBook. But what the iPad does right is remarkable. So basically what this iPad Air is doing is it's having some of the processing power of the iPad Pro with some of the drawbacks of having a cheaper iPad. So it's still using the Lightning connector. You're not going to be able to switch to the USB-C like you already are able to on your laptop. Either that's a MacBook or Huawei or something else. And that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, it's something you have to live with, but it's understandable with Apple trying to cut costs. I mean, I didn't really expect anything different, and I don't think anybody else did either. Now, the downside to this iPad Air is that it doesn't have the ProMotion display like the iPad Pro. I mean, for me personally, I probably wouldn't shell out the cash to get an iPad Pro just because it's so limited compared to an equally priced laptop or a laptop that is maybe a little bit more expensive, but considering you get so many more options about what you can actually do with it, I'm going with the laptop 9 times out of 10. However, if you want a stellar device for watching Netflix, for browsing Reddit, Twitter, surfing the internet, you cannot go wrong with a $300, $400, $500 iPad. They're wicked fast. They are built extremely well. This new iPad weighs about a pound, is 6.1 millimeters, which is remarkably thin and much thinner than the phones that Apple's making. So in that regard, it's pretty great. The $499 price tag, it is, again, quite a bit of money to shell out on an iPad compared to the old model. But one thing that you're actually getting is you're getting a slightly bigger display. The bezels that were obviously around the old or the original iPad that they still sell right now are bigger on the old one compared to this new one. When it comes to the body, it is identical to the 2017 iPad Pros. It really is, without the ProMotion display. The one thing is when I have tried these cheaper iPads that they make right now, I've noticed it's a little bit cheap. I have an old iPad Air iPad Air 2 that I use, and it feels a lot more premium than the basic iPad that they're doing. So I want to be able to try the iPad Air in person, and that's something I obviously want to try out because sometimes, even though it is a cheaper device than the iPad Pro, is it still going to have some of the same build quality as the old iPad Pro? I don't know yet, but I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But again, my initial conclusion about this iPad Air is that if you're looking for a device that has some of the power of the iPad Pro without the steep costs, and you don't care about not having Face ID or USB-C, and you just want a great all-around device that's well built and everything, I don't think, again, at this point, you can go wrong with the iPad Air.